Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. How are you all coming along with your holiday and Christmas card making? I have another Christmas card to show you in this video using Spellbinders' large die of the month for October. This one is really fun. It's called Santa's Fireplace. You can make a beautiful fireplace scene with it. And there is a die in this set that you can add to it so that it is an interactive card. My card today is going to be interactive, but in a different way. I'll show you that in just a minute, but let me pull these dies out. This is the main piece of this set, this pretty mantle piece. And then you get Santa and a stocking, you get candles, and a fire die to put inside your fire, as well as logs. This piece here is the hearth to the fireplace, and it also is the place where you put your sentiments. It comes with 6 different sentiments, so it can be a Christmas card or a winter card, or you can even make it into a fall time card. The sentiments say, give thanks, Merry Christmas, Noel, a gift for you, dear Santa, and warm wishes. There are so many dies in this set. I guess they call it the large die of the month for a good reason. I'm also going to be using an embossing folder. This one is called Sweater Weather. I thought this would be perfect to go behind my fireplace. So let's get into the card making. I always die cut all of my pieces off camera, and I cut out the fireplace with some white cardstock. The sentiment I'm using says warm wishes. And I'm going to be using some brushed gold cardstock behind my fireplace. Now, the dies cut out the pieces that go behind the fireplace, but I'm just using scrap pieces of paper to put some gold detailing on this. I'll just put down little drops of glue and then place the gold cardstock over it. And I think it would have been easier to use the die cuts because I do have to go in and trim this out. But this brushed gold cardstock just looks so pretty as the detail work behind this fireplace. There are already a lot of beautiful card examples out there where card crafters have used this set. I'll put this last strip of gold paper on, and here's what it looks like so far. The sentiments I want to be black, so I'm going to adhere a piece of black cardstock behind this. I'm used to using black ink most of the time to stamp out my sentiments, so I just wanted this to be black. Next, we'll start adding some of the little detail pieces to the fireplace, and I'm going to be using more brushed gold for that. So we'll put the bottom of, I don't know what you call this, just the bottom of the fireplace pieces on, and these are etched and embossed too. So there's a lot of detail to this that the camera just doesn't pick up. But we'll put those on. Next, there are 2 pieces on the fireplace where you can add kind of some shading so it looks dimensional. I cut out these pieces with some silver fox cardstock. Just makes it look like it has more depth to this fireplace. And then I'm going to put some gold bars across the top of this. So I'll just put a little line of glue. And again, it's etched so you can see right where you need to put these. This stamp set just comes with everything. It's so detailed. We'll put the top one on. So I'm going to be making this card interactive, as I said, using an easy light. These are so much fun to use, and I thought it'd be perfect behind the fireplace. So I'm going to adhere this down with a little bit of double-sided adhesive, and I'm just putting it right behind the fireplace. Next, I'm going to build up some foam tape behind the fireplace as well, and I put down 2 layers of that. I'm using a piece of oatmeal cookie, which is kind of a craft cardstock for this log. I'll use some brown distress ink just to add a little bit of shading to this. And next, let's work on the fire. So I cut these out using different colors of cardstock from Spellbinders Cardstock Essentials. And you can do this any way you want. This was so much fun to put together. So I'll add these two little red pieces. I like these three colors together. It just makes it look so cute. For the scene inside my fireplace, I'm going to use a little bit of mustard seed to add some light behind the fire. And this is another piece of oatmeal cookie cardstock. It's just a brown craft cardstock from Spellbinders. I'll pop up the fire and the log with some foam squares. It helps to have some tweezers to pick up these teeny tiny pieces. So I have a fireplace in my home and I just love it. It was one of the requirements when I was house shopping. I needed to have a fireplace, especially here in Chicagoland where it gets so cold. But we always enjoy that every winter. So I'm going to tape down these wires just using a little bit of double-sided adhesive. I'm trying to wrap these around the foam pieces, but I'm going to have this going off the side. I'll add one more piece right between these foam pieces. And then I'm going to put that aside for just a minute. I need to use my all-in-one tool to pierce this oatmeal cookie cardstock so that the light can come through it. I'm going to pierce this in two places so I can use two of the lights behind the fire. And then later on, I'll use one light behind the candles. The fire flames will help to hide those dots. So I pulled the release paper off of my foam pieces, and I'm going to attach this to the craft cardstock. Next, I'll add the hearth, but these wires just will come off the side. And then I'm going to use more of the double-sided adhesive just to tape these down to the back of the card. And I'm just kind of going with the way they naturally want to bend and making sure that I tape them all down so that they don't pop out. And then I can put the little ends through the holes that I had created. And then I can just tightly tape those in place. And that's one of the lights. Isn't that cute? I'll push the second light through and tape that down. I'm going to put a little bit of tape right here, just so nothing shifts. Now we have both lights. So much fun. Okay, so let's put the hearth on next. And they just pop into place just perfectly. I'll trim off that little piece of craft cardstock at the bottom. But here is my embossed piece. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it is made from Barely Peach cardstock. And the sweater pattern just looks so cute on this cardstock. So let's trim that overhanging piece off. And I'm going to use liquid glue to put this down on the Barely Peach cardstock. And it just fits snugly on the bottom of this card. Next, I'm going to create a wreath, and I wanted a little more dimension to these pieces. So I'm using some rustic wilderness and a finger dauber just to add a little bit of a darker color on the inside of these leaves. I'm using some Spellbinders circle dies to create a circle frame. This is just easier to have to glue your leaves on. So here it is, all ready to go. I'm just going to swipe it with some glue, and I'll use my tweezers just to press these in place. I'm going to make it so it's really full. I also cut out some with the brushed gold cardstock. And I'm going to go around this circle twice with these leaves. It's just a cute little wreath. This was fun to put together. But it does take a little bit of time to dry. So let's go over it one more time. And the brushed gold cardstock does take a lot longer to dry than just the regular green cardstock. So once I'm done with this, I'm going to put an acrylic block over it just to hold it down and allow it to dry flat. There we go. Once that is dry, I'm going to add some flowers, just cut out with some white cardstock around this wreath. Later, I decide to add some really small red gems to the centers of these flowers, and it looks really pretty. Just a touch of sparkle on this wreath. I have another circle die cut that I'm going to glue the wreath onto. But first, I'm going to glue on the little candles. And also a bow on the bottom of this wreath. Isn't that bow cute? So I'm going to press a hole in this circle piece for my third light. And it's going to go right between the two candles. Now I should have pierced a hole in the peach cardstock that I embossed and had it come through the back. As it is, you can see the wire coming up from the fireplace, but I'm going to fix that in just a minute. So I'm going to wrap the wires around with more of the double-sided adhesive, and then I can glue down my wreath, and you won't see those wires. But the little wires that you do see there, I cover up with a small piece of the Barely Peach cardstock. I went around the edges with some Delicata Gold ink, and it looks yellow here, but it's a really pretty gold. So let me turn off the lights here so you can get a good idea of what this looks like and how bright it is. But isn't that fun? I don't have a stamp that says press here, so I have to get one of those. But this card is all done. Isn't that so much fun? I have the links listed in the description box below of all of the supplies I used to put together this card. Take care, my crafty friends. I hope you find some time today to sit down and create some really fun cards. I'll be back again really soon with another card crafting video. Bye!